So many people feel stuck. So many people try to change their life and then they fall back into the same routine, the same habits, the same beliefs. They look up and 5, 10, 15 years go by and they're living the same life. Maybe that's been a moment for you where you started to get in shape and then you sabotaged it. You started to work on relationships and then you ruined them. You started to get healthy and then you sabotaged it. You started to make money and then you sabotaged it. And no matter how hard you try, you have a fear that you'll be stuck in the same spot forever. But what if I were to tell you there's actually invisible laws of this human experience? What if I were to tell you that there's laws that govern this whole entire human experience, and once you know them, you can start navigating this world that we call Earth, the human experience, so you can have the upper hand, the upper hand or the upper edge. That's the only reason why the man with no legs of an arm, me, is able to have the money and the cars and the relationships and the intimacy and the happiness, whatever it may be, is because I understand that there are laws within this realm that help you if you know what they are. So in this video, we're going to cover those invisible laws. And remember, the law of exposure states, once you're exposed, you can never be unexposed. And so if you're open to it and you want to go down this rabbit hole, life will never be the same. If you don't, click off the video. But if you do, let's go. The first law that will change the quality of your life is the law of extreme ownership. Now, what does that mean? Well, let me just give you a quick story, and I'm going to do this fast because I want to make sure that these videos are punctual and they're straight to the point. But I wasn't always successful. I wasn't always confident. I wasn't always handsome. I wasn't always a great speaker. And for the majority of my life, I was blaming everything for my life. I was blaming my creator for making me born with no legs but an arm. I was blaming girls for making fun of me. I was blaming people for making fun of me. I was blaming my circumstances and my upbringing. And the truth is, a lot of people fall into this victim mentality of blaming the external things for the reason why they are the way they are and why they act internally. But I can assure you that if you understand the law of extreme ownership, it'll change the quality of your life. And what that means is you start looking at your body, you start looking at your bank account, you start looking at your relationships, you start looking at your environment, and you understand and you take the conscious decision and act that it's all your fault. That your life is an accumulation of decisions that you've made. Could have been influenced by the outside world, but you made the decisions. And that life is exactly where you brought yourself to. And so the moment that you can take extreme ownership, if you don't like the way your body looks, you're like, that's on me. If you don't like the way your bank account looks, that's on me. If you don't like the way your toxic relationships look, that's on you. And the moment you take ownership, life will start to change. And it's tough. But as real leaders, as real men, as real women, we take ownership of our life. And then because we take ownership, we know that we can change it. And so just to give you a friendly nudge on the first law is everything is your fault. But that's good because once you understand it's your fault, you now have the power to change it. Please, please anchor this for you in your heart that you will only get so far blaming other people. But the moment you look around and say, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to make the money. I'm going to learn the skill set. I'm going to become more heart-centered. That's when life starts to change. And so that's your first law, the law of extreme ownership. Now, the next law, did you know that if you just improved yourself by 1%, it's a good thing I got fun finger, 1% every single day, that you would be 37 times better than the majority of the world. Now, that may sound arrogant, it may sound cocky, but the truth is, you and I are trying to become greater versions of ourselves, and in reality, we're trying to become more valuable human beings. And so the second law that I want you to note is the law of compound interest or compound growth. Albert Einstein said compound growth or compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. And what does that mean? Well, that means that if you just get, and this isn't just for money, this is your whole life. If you just get slightly better each and every day, after 3 months, after 6 months, after 12 months, you will look up and not even recognize the version you are today. It's probably already happened in your life. You got really consistent about something, you put your head down, you worked and worked and worked, and one day you looked up and your compounded growth was here. You were a totally different version of yourself. And so the next law that I want you to note is what we call the law of compound growth or compound interest. And I want to anchor the belief in the muscle that if you just get 1% better on your relationships, on your money, on your wealth, on your skill sets, on your heart, on your relationship with Creator, if you could just do it messy, do it janky, but just get moving every single day, it'll change the quality of your life forever. The truth is, most humans want everything quick fix. They want the money now. They want the relationship now. They want the house now. They want the love now. But the truth is, real men and real women who are dialed in and tapped into the code of this human experience understand this invisible law, that if I could just get a little bit better every single day, I will always win. Because what most people do is they try to get really good in a short amount of time, and then they sabotage it. Then they go back into their old ways. But if you can really harness, put your head down, go into monk mode, whatever that looks like for you, and just get better every single day, I can assure you, life will never be the same. They say it's a marathon, not a sprint. Easy for me to say, the guy with no legs. Okay, let's go into the next law. Hey, real quick, before we go into the next law, all these laws are amazing and they'll change the quality of your life. And we're going to talk about environment and the power of the environment. And some of you watching this video, you come to me because maybe you don't have a community or a support system that thinks like you, that pushes you. And so over the past 8 years, I've learned some of the greatest healing modalities, psychology tricks, ways to hack the brain. Of course, the man with no legs or arm has a crazy life. I had to hack my brain to do so. And I've created a community that is really, really powerful. So this is your nudge. It's free. You can test it out. No strings attached. You can cancel it any time, but there is a free trial if you click the link below or in the description. All right, let's get into the next law. The next law, I think, is one of the most powerful, invisible forces that you can become aware of and that you can harness inside of your human experience, and that is the law of identity shifting. Your identity. You will only act in alignment with your identity. Now, I have a deeper video on identity, but I'm going to go overview here. I'm not going to get too nerdy, but the law of identity shifting means that if you can get very clear on who you want to become, and you can list out the characteristics of like, okay, what does $50,000 a month Nick look like? What does 10K a month Nick look like? What is 20,000, or what does the in-shape version of myself look like? If you can plant the seed and start picturing your upgraded identity and start asking yourself, what are the characteristics? What are the habits? What are the rituals? You can start living your greater version now. Now. But the truth is, the hardest part is you seeing a greater version of yourself when you're in your current situation. Do you have the ability? Do you have the patience? Do you have the imagination to see a greater version of yourself now and work towards that person until you become it? That's the truth. Everything that I've done in my life, I had to see it in my brain before it was real. When no one knew who I was, I saw myself as famous, I became a prankster. And then I wanted to become a bodybuilder. I saw myself on stage and working out, and next thing you know, I was in shape and I was on stage. And then I wanted to speak on stages, and I obsessed over it. I wanted to see it, and I wanted to feel it, and I wanted to change lives, and next thing you know, I was one of the biggest speakers. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to become the greatest of the greatest. But what I am saying is, when you understand that you only act in alignment with your identity, you can literally sit after this video, plan out your identity, who you want to be, how do you want to act, how do you want to love, what skills do you want? I mean, get so clear in your identity and start living in alignment with that person, and your life will start to change. Everything in your life you do is based on your identity. If you don't upgrade your identity, you'll be the same person for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And so that is the next law, the law of identity shifting. You have the power to do so. Now, the next law, I feel like this is my whole entire life inside of one single law, and that is the law of discomfort. I'm going to make this very, very simple for you. So the law that we just talked about is discomfort is the way. The path is the way. Especially as a man, the hard thing is the way. Now let's move into the next law. The next law is what we call the law of consistency over intensity. Meaning, yeah, you can go to the gym for 2 hours for a whole entire week, or you could just go to the gym 45 minutes a day and crush it for the whole entire month. You're going to be way better because you were more consistent over the intensity. There was a famous quote. It said, I'm going to totally butcher this quote, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. It was like, don't fear the man that has practiced 10,000 different punches. Fear the man who practiced 10,000 hours of one punch. I hope that lands, because I ain't got legs, I ain't got hands, I ain't punching. All right? But the law is consistency over intensity. I'm going to speed this up because I noticed we're a little bit over time. The next law, which is one of the most important laws, and what I've realized is most of you don't need to be taught, you need to be reminded, but the law of environmental control. I can assure you that you are your environment. I can assure you that you are the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And if you hang around with toxic people, you're going to become toxic. If you hang around people who don't celebrate you, who don't push you, who don't want to hear your dreams, you're not going to achieve them. It's going to be a lot harder. So you have to control your environment and make sure that you're in empowering environments that push you, drive you, motivate you, inspire you, all the things. And if you're still living your hometown, leave. That's your breakthrough for the video. But environmental control is the next law. Let's move to the next one. The next law is one of the most valuable laws when it comes to entrepreneurship and you building yourself into a greater version of self, is fall in love with the game, not the scoreboard. That means love the process versus the outcome. The truth is, men and women, I'm going to tell you this. You probably have a specific scenario in your head where you're like, once I get that, then I'll feel this way. Once I get the house, once I get the money, once I get the girl, the guy, then I'll feel. And the truth is, you're going to get the thing and the feeling is going to go away. And so you have to manage your emotions and your expectations on this journey of growth and entrepreneurship. You need to fall in love with the process and not the outcome, because the outcome always moves. That's your next law. The next law that runs the whole entire universe that will make sure that you are highly intelligent and you're always growing is the law of endless curiosity. Your curiosity probably was killed as a kid when someone told you, you talk too much, you ask too many questions, that's a stupid question, so you stop being curious. But the truth is, the most successful humans and entrepreneurs are the ones that are curious, because they realize if they ask the right question, it will always lead to the right answer. And so the law of staying curious, always ask questions, always be a student of the game, never fall into the wealth trap that you know it all. Now, coming up on your final last two laws, and we're going to wrap this video up, but number 10 is the law of delayed gratification, meaning suffer now, enjoy later. Suffer now, go through the discomfort now. You don't need to blow all the money now. Get to a specific point where you really earned that reward. You really earned that watch or that car or that vacation. But delayed gratification, you need to suffer now so you can enjoy a life that most people will never have. Don't blow the money immediately when you get it. I've already done that. Don't go off the rocker the moment you get all the money and the success. Delayed gratification. Fall in love with the process, but also delay the gratification. Do the smart thing, the wealthy thing, not the ignorant thing. That's what I'm going to say with delayed gratification. Your last law is very simple, but it would change the quality of your life, and that's the law of resilience, meaning you can't lose if you never quit. I've been told no so many times, rejected, hurt, broken, business deals gone down, people made fun of me, you name it, but I've never quit. I never quit, and so therefore I will always win. And so, my friend, if there's anything that you take from the man with no legs of an arm, is that the man with no legs of an arm has never quit, no matter how much they try to beat him up. I am the man in the arena, and you are the man or the woman in the arena, and give yourself grace and compassion that you are in the arena, you're in the game. But I can assure you, you will never lose if you never quit. So these are the 11 laws that can completely transform your life if you're open to it. And I want to end with this. Knowledge is potential power. The real power comes from implementation and integration. And if you don't want to do it alone, remember, we have our Victoria Center Circle, our private community from people all around the world. I coach live on Zoom. We have a community. We connect. We may have breakthroughs. We support each other. And you can test it out for free. Link below. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, all the amazing things, because every single week we're dropping fire just like this. We'll see you in the next video.